Just learned the word ferret is derived from the Latin word meaning ferretus, meaning little thief, and that a group of theirs is called a business, and I am absolutely pleased with this new knowledge. A thieves' guild? Situation dire. I've been saying huzzah, alas, and tis, unironically for like a year now, almost so far. However, I had to notice that I now mark half of my goodbyes with I must away. It's spreading. Dear Lord, please not this post. I promise I'm cooler than this. My brother works on a boat. When he rants about his job, I can't take it seriously because he keeps angrily referring to his boss as captain. Like, sorry, you're having a 19th century sailor problems, my guy. Northern Lion was reading out a sweet note his daughter wrote him in kindergarten that said, I know my dad loves me because he's my favorite person and I'm his favorite person. And someone commented, circular reasoning. I mean, they're right. Welcome to my epic fantasy world. We have many developed fantasy kingdoms with 2,000 years of rich lore and history. And to the south, you can see the evil sand people. And to the east, there's Japan, China. Okay, I get that the joke is like not doing that much effort into outside of where your story takes place, which is fair. Your setting is supposed to service your story, not the other way around. But if you are ever struggling with that, look up the history between Japan and China. Those two hate each other. And it is like there is so much rich history between Japan and China and honestly all of East Asia that it's so annoying when fantasy stories just try to treat it like it's all one group. Like, yes, technically they're the same group. They are East Asia after all, but that continent has some interesting history. Like, at least with the UK, when you group them together, sure, they all hate each other, but mostly because of some really forced colonization, their culture isn't that different. At least in certain areas, you can pass that off. Japan and China never really colonized each other and constantly hate each other to the point where you can get a lot more interesting storytelling by looking into what's going on there. And you can just vaguely reference it and people will think you're insane and came up with this wild story when really you're just referencing something that actually happened. Two horses, one covered in blood, run loose in central London, which is definitely not an omen. Due to inflation, we can only afford two of the horses of the apocalypse and none of the horsemen. This is where Brexit Britain has gotten us. Can't even have a proper apocalypse now. Damn inflation. Trainwreck be visited by another billionaire 2 years after OceanGate disaster killed 5. That is a coffee machine. No. Do not try to pass off as a submarine. That is a coffee machine. Like moths to a flame. When will you learn? When will you learn your actions have actually, wait, no, let them learn the hard way, actually. I'm down for this. Titanic boat, perfect size to put billionaire in for a nap. Inside, very soft and comfort. Baby sleep soundly, put billionaire in Titanic boat. Put billionaire in Titanic boat. No problems ever in Titanic boat because good shape and support for billionaire neck, weak of big billionaire head. Atlantic boat, yes, a place for a billionaire. Put billionaire in Titanic boat. Can trust Titanic for giving good love to billionaire. Friend Titanic. Isn't it creepy from the day you are born you start to die? Actually, fun fact, is starting to die is defined as cells start dying at a faster rate than they are replaced, then you don't start dying the day you're born. You're still growing and cells are still being replaced pretty quick for about 22 to 25 years. So 25, that's when you start to die. Yay! Ask any 25-year-old and they will confirm. Whoever invented open in-app links that redirect you to the App Store instead of actually opening the app, even when you already have the app installed on your phone, should be involuntarily turned into a beanbag chair. What flavor is Blue Powerade? Mountain Blast? That's not a real flavor. They call me Powerade the way I'm Mountain Blast. I'm sorry. Never apologize for living your truth. That's that's so wholesome though. The thing that bothers me with Seven Deadly Sin based characters is they can't decide if they want to embody the sin by suffering from it or by drawing it out with others. If you're a gluttony demon guy who loves eating, then your lust demon should be a gooner sex pest. And if your lust demon is a seductive girl boss, then your gluttony demon should be a 5-star chef. Does that make sense? One thing about this is I agree completely, but at the same time, I want to point out both the connection of lust to sex and gluttony to food are overdone and aren't really necessary. Like, I think a lot of people forget the point of the 7 deadly sins is that stuff everybody suffers from. Lust is just incredibly strong desire. Your heroic character who strongly desires to help people is also guilty of lust. And people who overindulge to an unhealthy extent are all guilty of gluttony. This is my way of saying that your gluttony characters should all be drug addicts, and I don't know why no one does that. I really deeply appreciate the storytelling craft that has gone to ensuring that David Tennant is the Doctor forever. Can appear at any time without requiring weird timeline shenanigans. This is fan service, yes, but I'm certain the #1 fan that it is servicing is in fact David Tennant. I think people forget that fan service is not supposed to be a bad thing. It's a lot like Hand to the Author where, yeah, we all know it's there, it's just supposed to be hidden well enough that it doesn't bother us. Fan service is ultimately a good thing. You should service your fans. You just shouldn't destroy your story in the process, because then it's really hard to get new fans who aren't into that service. Reverse Mulan about a young man who disguises himself as a noblewoman and has to learn how to do passive-aggressive politicking at dinner parties. He does so to dodge the draft. Okay, at first I thought this was just a bit, but now I'm thinking that would be a really interesting story. K-pop Demon Hunters from the perspective of the fans is so freaking funny. Because what do you mean the biggest K-pop girl group in Korea is beefing it with and wrote a devastating diss track about a new boy band that debuted like 4 weeks ago and only has one song out? Soulja Boys, My Little Soda Pop. Huntress' next single release, Soulja Boys, we hope you die for real. Girl, you don't even know them well enough to be specific. You're just calling for their extinction as their group. This is an interesting point. I don't know if I fully agree, but it is interesting. Really is bizarre the way fandoms largely do not like women at all. It's been happening for ages, but when you see people straight up just hating on women characters more often now, plus the general rise in misogyny, and then you come on here and everyone's just pretending women don't even exist in any media ever, it's like, that's not much better. Fandom is an activism, but it does reveal people's internal biases. Like women being excluded, sidelined, and erased in everything. People will take characteristics that are compelling in a female character and give it to a male character in fan context, just so you don't have to engage with women ever. Fics, fan art, ships, etc. A Hollywood-produced movie/TV show won't even sideline a woman as much as the average fandom blogger will. That's an interesting point. I'm not sure if I fully agree with this. Like, depending on the fan base, I might actually agree with you. But at the same time, there's other fan bases where I don't agree. Like, especially when in some shows, it's also very obvious that the women characters are just really boring and kind of annoying to work with. So we just don't. In which case it comes more to the source material. And then there's other times where, the fan base just full on blocks out the women and gets oddly angry when you acknowledge them.